Okay, so this is a short sequence to practice before you go for a run, or probably useful for cycling as well, and or anything that involves kind of the feet and the legs and the hips. A great way to just open yourself up. It's a little bit of a combination of some yoga poses and some myofascial release. And I've got a few different props here with me. I've got some bricks, a roller, a bolster. If you don't have a bolster at home, you could use some cushions. I've got a blanket, and I've got 2 myofascial balls, or you could use tennis balls if you don't have myofascial balls handy at home. So I've also got a dog, which is optional. He is very much a yogi these days. So I'm just going to start in our first pose, and we're going to come into what's known as broken toe pose. And this is a great pose just to open up the feet. So we're going to be here for about a minute. So just allow yourself to tuck the toes and see if you can sit back on the heels. And then just allow the rest of the body to be relatively loose. Now, if you do find this one particularly strong for the soles of the feet, you could take your bricks and you could place the bricks either sides of the hips, just so that you can gently push down into the hands to help you lift up a bit. Or you could bring yourself forward onto your hands just to release the pressure off the feet a little bit there. So you're already a good 30 seconds in. See if you can hold for a little bit longer. Just sense that opening of the foot. I'm going to sit myself right back here. If it's super challenging, just come to your breath. Inhale and exhale through your nose. See if you can take a couple more breaths here. Good, and then release, and you can just bring yourself back into all fours, and then just gently tap the tops of the feet on the ground. Tap, 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 tap. Good. And then you're going to come to a kneeling position. I'll move my brick out the way here. And you're going to keep the left leg on the ground. Bring the left hand towards the side of the hip, and then just see if you can pick the right knee up off the ground. So your toes are untucked. You're just helping to lengthen that front side of the foot and round the shin, the tibialis anterior. Good. See if you can take another breath. Inhale, bring yourself down, and then just switch. So bring the right hand down onto the mat. Lean yourself towards that side, and then picking the left knee up and just leaning over to the side there. Good. See if you can take another breath. Lovely. And then we're going to come from here back into our broken toe pose. Such a great pose. So take 2. See if you can tuck the toes again. Remember, you've got the options to use the props, or you've got the options to lean slightly forward to take the pressure off a fraction. And we're going to be here for another minute or so. So see if you can settle in. Take some nice deep breaths in and out of the nose. Release the jaw, shoulders, neck. And just use the breath to help you with any the challenge, send the breath to the areas of the body that are challenging you. Good, lovely. One more breath. And then bring yourself back out, untuck the toes again, and then just tap the feet on the tops of on the mat there. Tops of the feet on the mat. Great. Now our next one, we're going to need our 2 balls. Not sure how the dog is going to fit into this one. We'll move you out of the way, Boo. Good. So we're going to come down onto our back, and you're going to place the ball right into the piriformis, which is the bullseye of your bottom cheek. So, without dog, seeing if you can come all the way down onto your back. Take your 2 balls and just place them right into that bullseye of your bottom cheek. And then allow yourself to leverage all of your body weight there onto the balls. Good, lovely. Take a few deep breaths and see if you can sense some softening of those tissues in the bottom. Sometimes I find it's more mind over matter in terms of asking the tissues to release. Good, lovely. And then you're going to bring the weight slightly onto the right side and allow that right knee just to fall out to the right side. And it doesn't have to come all the way down to your kind of furthest range of motion, just maybe about 60 or 70%. And then you're going to just lift the knee a fraction and then bring it back down. So you're kind of waving that leg or opening and closing the leg a fraction there. Good. See if you can take another breath. And then bring that leg all the way back up and just let the left leg drop out to the side. Again, take a few breaths there to begin with. And then you're just going to lift and lower the knee. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. About 30 seconds or so. Good, and then bring that leg back up and just push gently into the feet, lift the hips and remove the balls for a moment. Bring yourself back down. And just take a moment there on your back just to sense that work that you've done. Good, and then the next thing that we're going to do is on a brick. So I want you to grab one of your bricks. You won't need the balls again for this moment. And you're going to come back down, lift the hips, place the back of the hips onto the brick. So the sacrum is on the brick there. Lovely. Then you're going to draw your right knee up so it's on top of the hip, and you can interlace the hands there just to support it if you want. And you're going to take your left leg all the way up towards the sky. You're going to draw in around the waist just to support you a little bit, and then you're going to begin to lower that left leg towards the floor. And before it hits the floor, when you start feeling that pull of the psoas muscle on the front of the hip, you're just going to move the heel up and down, up and down. And a kind of little bouncing or pulsing there for that left leg. And then you're going to place that heel all the way down to the floor or onto your dog if you've got a dog prop. And just allow yourself to settle there for a few breaths so that that left psoas can begin to open. Good, and then we'll switch sides. So draw the left knee in, interlace the hands, and you want to avoid pulling it in too far. You're just kind of supporting it so that it's right on top of the hip. Take the right leg up, inhale, and then begin to lower that right leg towards the mat. And once you feel that gentle tug on the psoas, just beginning to bounce the leg a fraction, pulse it up and down a fraction. Keep a gentle engagement around the belly to support the lower back. Good. And then bring that right foot all the way down onto the floor. And we'll take a few more breaths here. Good, one more breath. And then you're going to draw that right knee back in, place both feet back on the ground, root into the feet so you can lift the hips and just move the prop, the brick out of the way there. Take a moment to pause. Lovely. And then you're going to roll yourself back up and we're going to grab our foam roller. And we're going to work a little bit on the hamstrings. So you want to take the foam roller right to behind the hamstrings here. And then you're going to bring yourself down and lie yourself onto your forearms. Lengthening the legs out. And then just letting the legs be really heavy on the foam roller. And we're going to take some little figure of 8 shapes with the legs. So you're moving the legs outwards. And then inwards, outwards and inwards. You're cross-fibering over, oop, he's got an itch. Keep going. Cross-fibering over the roller. Lie back down, please, baby. And keeping the legs as heavy as you can on the roller as you move. Good, let's take a few more. And then releasing, exhaling. Now, the next one you could do with a foam roller, or you could use your balls and your bricks again. So it depends how targeted you want to be. I find with the foam roller, I can get a lot more of a chunk of tissue at one time. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick my hips up and just begin to roll the back of the lower leg here up and down a few inches. And then I'm going to place my hips back on the ground and I'm going to begin to make some circles with the foot at the ankle joint. He's making some circles with his head. Boop, boop. And then you can move in the opposite direction as well. Good. And then just roll the roller up a few inches. Same thing. So pick the hips off the ground a fraction and then just move yourself up and down on the roller. It's easier if you don't have a dog in the way. And then place yourself back down and just move the foot around in circles. You're so in the way. How about you just move down a little bit for me? Just move down a little bit. Yes. I know, waggy wag. Good. So you're still moving your foot around. Lovely. Now you could move up a few more inches and take that big chunk of calf on the with the roller, or another option that I really like is to take a brick and place my 2 balls right in that really meaty part of my calf. And then again, you can just roll yourself forward and back, up and down. And then the balls go flying. You could use 1 ball, and you can also go left and right here. Good. See if you can take a few more breaths. Now Kenny's more interested in the ball than he is me, which is good. Oh, there he goes. Great. I've got my mat back, but I haven't got my ball back. We'll switch to the other leg. So grab the foam roller, and again, place it just under the back of the lower part of the calf, right towards the Achilles is fine. And then just start by picking up the hips and rolling a few inches up and down. Great, and then you can place the hips on the floor, and you can make some circles with the foot. And you can point and flex. And then we'll move up again a few inches, pick the hips up, rolling yourself up and down. And just like we did on the hamstrings, just allow yourself to be really heavy. Oh, here he comes with his ball. Good, and then place the hips on the ground, and again, flex and point, or circles with the ankle, or a bit of both. Lovely, and then the final spot at the top of the calf, that kind of chunk, before you get to the back of the knee, that big chunk of tissue, you can either roll it, or you can take your brick again with 1 or 2 balls, 2 if you've got them. Place them in that really meaty part, and then just cross fibering over left and right, up and down a bit there. And again, pointing and flexing. And another option also, if you want to go a little bit deeper, is to put the weight of the opposite leg onto the leg. Good. Take a few deep breaths. Lovely. And then the final thing I wanted us to do before your run is to grab your foam roller and roll the back side of the hips. This one for me before a run is really important. So just bringing yourself onto that, is the big chunk of tissue here on the back of the hip. You want to avoid being on the bone, and you want to come not so far down as the leg. So you can bring yourself onto the side about 45 degrees, prop yourself on your arm, and then just begin to roll yourself up and down for about 30 seconds. You can get out of the way of the camera. Yoga with dog. Good, so rolling the back of the hip there. And then working down the leg to the outside of the top part, just above the knee, the IT band. So make sure you're not on the knee. Again, stack the hips, lift the hips, and then just rolling up and down. Good. Place the hips on the ground, and then we're going to walk like Michael Jackson or the moonwalk or something. There's a lot of bouncing balls going on down there. Lovely. And then we'll go on the other side. Good boy. So moving yourself onto the back of the right hip. Again, so you're kind of 45 degrees to the floor, and then you can use the feet just to kind of lever you up and down on the roller. Such a cheeky bum. Lovely. A few more breaths. And then just bring yourself off. Take the roller just above the knee. Stack the legs one on top of the other, and then pick yourself up, and then just move yourself up and down a few inches. And you don't really need to move far here at all. And this part can often be quite tender for runners as well. So just go gently and slowly and keep breathing. And then bring the hips down, and then we're going to go on our little moonwalk again. And now he's crashed. Hello. Good. Final breath. And then coming out. And you're all set up to go off on your run. The next video will show you a short sequence to end your run with, or to do in the evening after you've run in the daytime.